In Brazil, rioters this month drove hundreds back over the border. Peru this month tightened entry rules for Venezuelans, requiring them to carry passports instead of just national ID cards, though a judge in Ecuador on Friday rolled back a similar rule enacted there. Describing those events as early warning signs, a spokesman for the International Organization for Migration, IOM, Joel Millman, said funding and means of managing the outflow must be mobilized. This is building to a crisis moment that we've seen in other parts of the world, particularly in the Mediterranean, he told a news briefing. On Thursday, the IOM and UN refugee agency UNHCR called on Latin American countries to ease entry for Venezuelans, more than 1.6 million of whom have left since 2015. Peru's top immigration official, Eduardo Sevilla, said Peru will exempt some Venezuelans from the passport requirement, including parents with children seeking to join the rest of their family, pregnant women and the gravely ill. But Sevilla said authorities would also be vigilant of attempts to evade the new rule by claiming refugee status. But he said some disturbing images had emerged from the region in the past week that risked stigmatizing Venezuelans who had fled and complicating efforts to integrate them. An Ecuadorian judge, Judith Naranjo, on Friday lifted an order requiring that Venezuelans hold passports to be allowed entry, in response to a lawsuit filed by Ecuador's state ombudsman together with local human rights groups. The judge accepted the request for the precautionary measures requested by the ombudsman, the agency wrote on Twitter. Ecuador's government said it would respect the decision to allow migrants to enter on their Venezuelan identification cards. But it said that the identification cards would have to be accompanied by a certificate of validation issued by Venezuela or an international agency recognized by Ecuador. Ecuador said the measure was intended to protect its own citizens. It did not say when it would take effect. Venezuela's information minister, Jorge Rodriguez, said on Friday that a new package of economic measures meant to address hyperinflation would win over Venezuelans who had left the country. Venezuela on Monday cut 5 zeros from prices and pegged the country's currency to an obscure state-backed cryptocurrency. Critics slammed the plan as inadequate in the face of inflation that topped 82,000% in July and is expected to reach 1,000,000% this year. The conclusion is that Venezuelans are going to return, and furthermore, we invite them to return because we need them for this recovery plan, Rodriguez told a news conference.